To oppose any new regulations, but this is my drinking water we're talking about here, pal.
Yeah, this is one where I think everyone thinks that resources like water and land should not be destroyed and wasted. It's just that we have different philosophies on how that protection should come about. Some people think the government should be heavily involved in regulating and protecting things that way. Others think that private property rights would result in possibly even better protection of things like that. But when I've been running for county commissioner, I'm running for Precinct 3, which is where all that is. That's the western half of Travis County. What I tell people is that something I think all of us can agree on, that's Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, and others, everyone except for Will Wynn and the Chamber of Commerce, is that we can stop putting pressure on Austin. There's this group called Envision Central Texas that keeps trying to pound into our heads that we need to double the population of Central Texas in 20 years. So rather than 600,000 or a million, have twice as many people as that in the Central Texas area. I don't think the people who already live there want that to happen. But you've got the Austin mayor and the Chamber of Commerce going out there giving subsidies to other companies and other people and to big developers to move here to Austin. So we may not agree on the ways to protect land and water and property, but I bet all of us agree that we should stop letting the mayor and city council try and taking our tax money and handing it to others to move here. Thank you.
Zimmerman from the Republican Party.
Well, the Travis GOP is pretty good on property rights, and we really think that the best way to protect the environment is to respect property rights. I want to quickly remind everybody that it was the Kelo decision. Anybody remember the Kelo decision where the Supreme Court stole somebody's house? They're kicking somebody out of their house so they can demolish it and give it to a corporate developer for a shopping mall because it'll bring in more money for city government. Now that is the scam that's going on, and that's what's happening because we're not respecting property rights. Another thing, maybe I can make a joke here. I'm from San Antonio, and I moved to Austin in 2000 after living in Houston for a while, and I started hearing about this Barton Creek salamander. I mean, you know what, guys? I want everybody to be as lucky as the Barton Creek salamander. That little creature has got all kinds of property rights and no property tax bill. I want the same thing for property owners and taxpayers.
If I can follow up there, Don. That was really pretty funny. No, well, does your property right include polluting on your neighbor's property, polluting into the creek with fertilizers that grow algae in my spring?
Absolutely not. Because what happens when people pollute, they destroy the value of other people's property. So I'm a big supporter on Ron Paul, and Ron Paul's got it right on this. If people would respect property rights, then polluters would be fined, or they could be sued in court. They would have to make reparations for any damage they caused to someone else's property. So I think property rights is still the way to go, and to defend your neighbor's property rights. You don't have a right to destroy his property with pollution.
Debbie Russell?
That's going to follow up with, keep your day job there from right. I'm glad you brought up San Antonio because, as Bill mentioned, 10,000 Austinites get their drinking water from the Edwards Aquifer. But most of San Antonio actually does. If we think of this as a regional perspective, which we need to because that's what it is. The Edwards Aquifer goes from here to almost the Mexican border. We need to pursue a lot more facets for protections and for working out the democratic protections as well, not just the environmental protections, but the attack on our sovereignty locally, which I agree with a lot of these people that spoke before me, that we have a lot of that going on from the state level. Of course, loves to attack Austin. Austin fights back by aligning themselves with some real bastards. And so we're just not in a good position to really make any good change and to really do what's necessary because we're so beholden to the politics involved. And we're not really looking at the big picture. The county is woefully underempowered to be able to address these issues, and that's one of the things that I would love to see people like Wes, people that are activists, get on the commissioner's court and really work to change that, because I think we need a lot more of that, amongst other things, empowering the Edwards Aquifer Authority and a lot more tools than we have at our disposal. So I'll stop there.
All right, and so that concludes my questions. For now, anyway, we'll see what happens if we have any time left. It doesn't look like we're going to. Anyone in the audience who wants to participate, there's scraps of paper hopefully laying around on your table or up at the front. Tom White here will be walking around collecting your written questions. Our first one here is, I guess for all of you, but this is going to be something that I was going to ask about anyway, is your views on mass transit. And I guess we can put this in the context of a Capital Metro bus driver strike, which is expected to begin this coming Friday. Are you for or are you against the strike? Erica Grignon? And you can pick for any old reason you want to be for or against, too.
I really didn't know about the Capital Metro strike, to be honest. I don't live in Austin. I live in Cedarville. Being a political activist and I like to go to protests, I might tend to be for the strike, but I don't really, I don't really know that much about it. I'll admit it. I didn't know there was going to be a strike.
That's fair. Bill Holloway?
I actually didn't know the strike was coming either. If this is,
I got that right, didn't I? Somebody help me here. Okay, good.
So, I mean, the Green Party supports not just minimum wage, but living wages for people who live here. If this is a strike about pay, especially with the cost of living increasing in Austin, or something unjust going on at Capital Metro, then we're for. For sure. In terms of the broader question of mass transportation, the Green Party obviously is in favor of improved working mass transportation that works for the people and serves the people. We need to look at improved bus service. We've got a rail service coming. We need to continue to pursue that. But it needs to work for people. We need to look at efficient bus routing and efficient service for the people so the tax dollars aren't going into a system that's not working.
Wes Benedict from the Texas Libertarian Party.
I say strike. That's not an official Libertarian Party position, but in general, politicians in Austin and the Travis County area keep saying, we're congested. I think that they've been having policies that deliberately have made Austin the most congested mid-sized city in America. They keep telling us they don't have enough money to expand our transportation system. They say they can't buy more buses, they can't add routes, and they can't add roads. And then they come up with the most expensive solutions that are out there. Toll roads cost 10 times more per lane mile than just ground level roads. They cost double what regular freeways cost to build. So somehow they can't afford highways, but they can afford toll roads. Secondly, buses cost about 10 times less than what rail costs. And so they say they want to help, mass transit is to move poor people and to help poor people get around who can't afford a car, particularly with gas going up so high, and yet they're going to waste Cap Metro tax dollars on light rail. So that's why bus drivers, that's one of the reasons they're mad and threatening to strike, because they know their pay is threatened by the chance we're going to waste all this money on light rail.
Yay! John Zimmerman, Republican. Yeah, here at all those comments from Wes. Again, the Travis GOP hasn't talked about the strike yet per se, but I can say that the Ron Paul Republican position on this really underscores why we need to have free markets. Because you got these bus drivers, God bless them, doing a good job, but the question is, how much should they be paid? I don't know. I don't think any of us know. And I just think it's wrong. I think the Republican position is it's wrong to hand over the power to decide your wage to government bureaucrats and politicians. Honestly, how do we know what someone's labor is worth? And we think that's the beauty of the free market. We want to try to make things as open as possible, let people compete, and and that way we can maybe find out what the labor is worth. I feel like no matter what they get, you could make an argument that it's too low or it's too high, and nobody knows what the right answer is.
Debbie?